It is the 22nd of August 2021. Welcome and a very good afternoon to the UBC News Roundup today at 1 p.m. My name is Sharon. Top stories of the week. President Yoweri Museveni this week said he's advocating for markets without borders in order to solve food insecurity in the world. Now, the president was speaking at Uganda National Food System Dialogue held at Kololo Mead this week. Details follow.
Uganda is endowed with fertile soils and favorable climate that gives the country's agricultural success.
These farmers of ours here have been harvesting 5.3 metric tons per hectare of bananas per year. But in the government research center in Bushenyi, they are now producing 53 metric tons. I was watching people in different parts of the world rioting for food. This was last year or 2 years ago. People were rioting for food. Here we are throwing food away.
According to President Museveni, there are about 12 bottlenecks that threatens Uganda's food security.
First problem was good seeds. But that one, the government has solved. We have got very many research institutions for all major crops, where the research institutions have developed for us the good seeds. Roads, like in Bundubujo. Bundubujo is a part of Uganda which had no road linking it to the rest of Uganda. And yet they are big producers of cocoa, of rice. Fortunately, now we have the road there. We have put them there. The road to the north, to Kitgum, where they produce simsim and other products. So that one is being addressed, the issue of roads.
So, this year's food security dialogue aimed at coming up with Uganda's commitment towards transforming agri-food systems for sustainable development. On access to food markets, Museveni advocated for opening up markets between countries.
We produce, like the other time we produced a lot of maize. We produced 5 million tons. But the Ugandans were eating only 1 million tons. So we had a surplus of 4 million tons. And people went into debts, into what? And I think some of them have fallen out. They are no longer interested in maize because there was no market. So persuading the people in Africa to understand the issue of one African market without borders is very, very important. So that I see our people here buying a banana known as gonja from Congo.
However, malnutrition, population growth and urbanization put pressure on natural resources.
The double burden of undernutrition and overnutrition, I mean overweight, obesity, and diet-related non-communicable diseases in the country. Empowerment of smallholder farmers, women, youth, and other vulnerable groups in the food value chain.
The dialogue highlighted solutions to be presented to the September Global UN Food Systems Summit.
And beyond, agriculture and agribusiness will drive the attainment of many of our sustainable development goals. And this is especially true at this critical time as we try to play catch-up with the time that we have lost due to the COVID pandemic.
And take home for Uganda from the summit will rely on the extent to which identified opportunities and solutions will be harnessed, prioritized, and urgently implemented within the current legislative agenda under the wider framework of the 19 95 Constitution and laws of the Republic of Uganda and the policy and planning framework under NDP 3 and Uganda Vision 2040, Your Excellency.
In more news during the week, National Resistance Movement members of Parliament this week endorsed the recently adopted parish development model. This follows a proposal by President Yoweri Museveni to have each parish receive at least 100 million Ugandan shillings per year for agriculture development purposes. During the NRM Parliamentary Caucus meeting at Kololo, Museveni highlighted 5 advantages of the parish model, including easy organization of parish groups.
Friday afternoon's Parliamentary Caucus meeting for National Resistance Movement was meant to endorse the recently adopted parish development model. The objective of the meeting was achieved in this overwhelming endorsement. This followed an appeal to NRM MPs by President Yoweri Museveni to endorse this model, whose advantages he highlighted.
It is small enough. You know the households. You can know who is doing what and who is not doing what. So that's why, therefore, we said, why don't we concentrate our efforts at the parish? Number one, so to have got a definite geographical area where somebody is answerable.
Upon enumerating these advantages, the head of state had this appeal to make.
I really now demand that the NRM leadership puts 100 million shillings per parish per year. 100 million. Why do I say 100 million? Because if we put 100 million per parish per year, in 5 years, we shall be talking of 500 million in the parish circle, government contribution, and revolving.
To support him were the Prime Minister and Minister for Local Government, who justified the quest.
We are suggesting that a seven-member committee headed by the LOC2, the chairman NRM, the chairperson Women Council, the chairperson Youth Council, the chairperson PWD, and the parish chief as the secretary, and at least one person from the elders to head the parish model.
We're saying under the parish model, we shall pay attention to community access roads, bridges, upgrading the local markets, extension of electricity to our communities.
To achieve all this, it will take ring fencing of some percentage for women and youth, as emphasized by some MPs.
If we do not mention that a certain amount, a certain percentage is ring fenced for women, Your Excellency, this will be abused at the level of implementation.
In the parish, all people are there. And if you want to ring fence for them, that is the best place to ring fence. Where you say, out of the 100 million, 30% is for women or 40%, I don't mind whatever percent you want to decide.
With this assurance from the head of state, it is a model that is projected to drive the country's development agenda.
So every year, if you are putting 100 million in a parish, and specifically for production and primary production in a way that you just look at agriculture, and under agriculture you look at animal husbandry and crop husbandry, I think this is going to awaken people to improve production.
There is no way youth will now be in the centers when they have this money, which is going to be like 30 million or so directly for the youth. So the youth will engage themselves in the wetland areas and produce a lot of fish.
Uganda has had similar development models, including Ntandikwa, Advisory Services NADS, and Operation Wealth Creation, among others. Some of these are reported not to have registered much success, a reason why the parish development model has been adopted. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Members of Parliament from Acholi sub-region have described the fallen General Lokech as a humble man and someone who loved his job. They say Lokech has dedicated his life to not only protecting Uganda but the entire East African countries. General Lokech died this weekend on Saturday morning at his home in Boate, Kira municipality.
Mourners, mainly comprising of relatives and friends, continue to flock the home of Major General Paul Lokech to condole with the family. The Chief Justice Alfonso Windolo was among those who came in mid-morning on Saturday. Members of Parliament from Acholi, who were also at the General's home, described him as a humble and someone who loved his job.
For us as Acholi people, we have always found a shoulder on him. It's a very big loss for us. We shall forever miss him because he was somebody who loved what he was doing. He loved the people, generally, irrespective of the political affiliation, irrespective of the religious affiliations. And today, we can't take it. It's not easy to accept that he's gone.
Today is a very sad moment. It's a very sad moment that the country has lost a very professional soldier, very young and very talented person. It is so sudden. Right now, as I talk, at home in Kitgum, in the entire Acholi is mourning.
They say Major General Lokech devoted his entire life to protecting Uganda and the East African region.
Lokech dedicated almost all his life to defend and protect our lovely country, Uganda. He went through a lot. He went to places that had a lot of challenges, where there were Al-Shabaab in Somalia. He did a lot for the country. He came back alive. And as a country, so proud of what he has really done for this country. When he came back in the country and he got the position of Deputy IGP, we thought we were his son.
He has been a man of the people. He loved the people. He loved humanity. He laid down his life on many occasions to save humanity. The country has lost a great personality.
The local council one chairperson for Chirekadi village says Lokech has been a loyal resident and he enjoyed working with him.
He's been here for the last 5 years, 6 years in my area. We have worked together. He was down to earth. He proved to ourselves as LOCs that he was a servant leader, whom we never knew that he was an army man until he put on a uniform. Down he could consult every LOC. Nothing he did without consulting the LOC.
The army spokesperson, Brigadier Flavia Biakwaso, says UPDF has lost one of its gallant commanders in the name of General Lokech, who has served UPDF in various capacities, including foreign mission.
So it is a huge loss to the institution. It is a huge loss to the people of Uganda, to the country generally. These are commanders. When we talk about a commander, not everyone has the capability to be a commander. So when you talk about losing a commander of Major General Paul Lokech's capability, it's a big loss.
This is the entrance to the general's home. Journalists were blocked from entering the home and all other details concerning the general's death remain scanty, especially what exactly killed the general and when he will. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Chira.
Still about Major General Lokech, the sudden death of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Paul Lokech, this Saturday has been received in the northern Uganda of Gulu with sadness, disbelief and anger. On the streets of Gulu City, the news about the demise of the son of the soul, Major General Paul Lokech, left many in shock.
Gulu and the entire northern Uganda is mourning the death of Major General Paul Lokech, who passed on at his home in Namugongo this Saturday morning. The Gulu NRM Party Secretary, George Ovola, described the death of Major General Paul Lokech as equivalent to the death of 1 million people.
General Paul Lokech is one Ugandan. First of all, he is one icon that we cherish a lot. Losing him like we have lost 1 million people in this region. And I wouldn't want to say how much, but his contribution for this country, for this part in the peace talk, we shall always miss him.
A veteran journalist, John Muto, who has also known the late general since 1981, is full of praise for the man who came to be known as the Lion of Mogadishu.
I am shocked by his death. He's a man who's doing a very good job in solving the mystery of crime in this country. Personally, I knew him because we trained together in Kabamba Military School. He was an intelligence officer, the first division quarters, when I was the reporter of the Monitor. So we always interact with him. So this death shocked me.
The former Noya District Deputy LC5 chairperson, Kibota Betty, was left in tears after receiving the news.
When we received the very sad news about the death of our son, General Paul Lokech, having been brought to that level, when somebody who have been very, very active and participatory in the activity within the government. So we just say, may the good Lord rest his soul in eternal peace.
She calls on the family to collect themselves and move on. Youth leader Daniel Rwachkara reflects on the inspirational image that Major General Paul Lokech had on the youth in his native Acholi sub-region.
Some of us have grown up to this age looking forward to be the other Paul Lokech in this world. What does it leave us, the young people, if we so much admire to grow, develop, and become future leaders of this country?
Uganda People's Defence Forces fraternity, politicians and family members this weekend flocked Buziga to pay their last respect to Lieutenant General Pecos Kutese, who died at Max Hospital in New Delhi, India on Tuesday. Lieutenant General Pecos Kutese, 65, was one of the 14 generals retired from the active service of the UPDF earlier this month at a function held at State House in Entebbe. By the time of his death, he was the commander of the UPDF Center for Doctrine Development and Synthesization.
Of the late RO 00026, Lieutenant General Pecos Onesimus Kutese, officers and men of the UPDF and fellow mourners. Condolence message. On behalf of officers and militants of UPDF and on my own behalf, please accept our heartfelt condolences at this moment of grief following the demise of our beloved General Officer, your son, Lieutenant General Retired Pecos Onesimus Kutese, which occurred on the 17th of August 2021 at Max Circuit Hospital, India. The cause of death is natural. Himself, although we are same rank, he was very, very senior to us as far as the service in the forces is concerned. But we were friends in a way. He always looked out for me. I remember when I was the commander of the Armored Brigade based in Masaka, and he would be going to Yakaigura. He would never pass Masaka without checking on me. And some of you who follow events on the national functions, I'm always by his side. Even in these meetings, whether it is High Command, whether it is Army Council, somehow we set up a relationship that all the time we sit together, and he had a very incredible brain power. He had the capacity to follow the proceedings in a meeting.
A normal family, not raised in a normal family. You find us arguing about things that are not family related at all. He respected me so much. He would agree with my decisions regarding family. We never argued about finances, about property. He had this disdain for amassing wealth.
Age, God gave Daddy the army. He became a soldier at a young age. He fell in love with the army. And the most important thing I'd like to say today is to thank the army, UPDF, for embracing my father, for giving him a purpose. That's all he cared about, that's all he thought about. And just the family affairs, God will take care of you when the storm is.
Lieutenant General Pecos Kutesa has been part and parcel of what we are seeing in Uganda. The liberation, ridding Uganda of the dictatorships that we saw in 1979 during Amin's regime. Kutesa was one of those people that fought Amin. So Kutesa, Lieutenant General Pecos Kutesa has been around in the revolution of Uganda. He's been around in liberating Ugandans from dictatorships, from tyranny. He's been one of the vanguards of the socio-economic transformation of this country we are enjoying today.
A challenge, it's a big loss, losing a man like General Pecos Kutesa. It's a great loss to the country. But we are so grateful that he has made a great contribution to the liberation of this country. And also, his wife has shown us what it means to love by sacrificing her liver, which was donated to her husband when he needed it. It is a real sign of sacrificial love, of sacrificing your organ. It's the real fulfillment of marriage vows. All I have, I give to you, and I share with you. She did it, and she has loved her husband, and because of that sacrifice, General Kutesa was able to live for more 12 years. And this is the time he has made his commitment to Jesus Christ. We have lost him, but his first life, like a son of a revivalist, and now midlife was different, but also the last life has been more fruitful.
Very sad news for Ugandans this week. May the Lord strengthen the family of the Deputy Inspector General of Police Major General Lokech and the Lieutenant General Pecos Kutesa. In more stories during the week, Vice President Major Jessica Lupo this week urged religious leaders from Teso sub-region to be at the forefront in supporting the Parish Development Model Government Program. She said government appreciated the roles religious leaders play in mobilizing communities. Vice President Lupo was on sport assessment of government programs in the districts of Soroti and Katakwi.
The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Lupo, has concluded a 3-day working visit to the districts of Soroti and Katakwi, where she conducted an on-spot assessment of government programs. The Vice President started activities with meeting religious leaders, whom she urged to support government programs in their areas, saying that religious leaders play a cardinal role in mobilizing society and that government appreciates religious contribution to the socio-economic development of the country. She alluded to the government parish development model, which is to be rolled out soon, saying religious leaders will be key in helping and working with the parish leaders in ensuring that the program is implemented transparently to lift Uganda out of poverty.
Here is not to accuse anyone, first not to accuse anyone, but to find a solution together. And I want to appeal to us to look at this issue as an issue which affects us as a region, but also affects us as a country. Because when we produce from here and we are productive from here, our farmers enter a money economy, they impact on the national economy. And we are saying with the parish model which is coming in, we want to move to middle income status.
The leaders, who included Bishop Joseph Ejilu Oliach of the Catholic Diocese of Soroti, Bishop Kosea Achili Odong of the Church of Uganda Diocese of Soroti, Asmano Chen, the Teso Region Kadi, and Teso Pastors and Elders Association, Robert Echeru, pledged to work with government in all programs aimed at improving the living conditions of the people. Alpo also held a meeting with farmers and management of Soroti Fruit Factory to assess the progress of the plant and also iron out issues affecting both productivity of the factory and farmers' efforts in supporting the supply of fruits to the factory.
Is it the storage problem which this factory has? Is it the consumption problem which the factory has? Those are the things I've come to collect in this meeting. Forget about those PowerPoint presentations. Just, I know those, I will put them in the paper, present them to cabinet, and solutions are found for our farmers, different farmers. So that tomorrow when the RCC goes to the villages, grow more oranges, grow more oranges, grow more mangoes, we can get motivated to grow because we know where we are going to sell them.
She also held a separate meeting with the management of Soroti University, with whom they discussed impediments affecting and derailing the progress of the institution, including land, funding and managerial issues, which she promised to follow up with the relevant stakeholders.
Take keen interest in the girl children, because the girl child is as equally important as the boy child. A girl child can equally excel the way the boy child can excel.
While in Katakwi, the Vice President handed over scholarships to students who excelled at various levels but would otherwise not continue with studies due to limitations of funding by their families, and urged students to study hard to support their communities in future. She later at Katakwi District Hospital handed over medical equipment, medicines and assorted supplies to the Katakwi District COVID-19 Task Force and District Health Team to support the efforts of fighting COVID-19 and also other related services. The Vice President, who held several other meetings with various groups, also delivered some of the pledges President Yoweri Museveni had made to various areas in Katakwi during his last visit to the district. Abiona Francisco, UBC News.
On a lighter note, during the week, Uganda National Examinations Board this week released the 2020 USC results, indicating a better performance compared to 2019. The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, released the exams at a function held at State House in Entebbe. Details follow.
Here we are. Yes and amen.
At least 68,013 of the 98,393 candidates who sat for the 2020 USCE have qualified for the next level of education. Reports indicate that 98,393 learners, of whom 57,264 were female, and sat for the USCE examinations in April this year. The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, released the examinations and was pleased with the improved performance, mainly in science subjects, compared to the previous years.
When we have more candidates taking science subjects at this level, then the prospect of taking up the places in the science-based programs other universities and other tertiary institutions also improve. We observe that we often present results comparing the performance of girls and boys here and there. How one sex does well and another does badly there, and sometimes magnify the unsatisfactory performance of one over the other. Honestly, we should be fighting against unsatisfactory performance in all its forms.
Janet Museveni also disclosed that the Ministry of Education plans to engage the Health Ministry to establish vaccination centers within schools.
In talking about safety, let me continue to remind head teachers, principals, and heads of other education institutions of learning to mobilize your respective teachers, critical non-teaching staff, and learners above 18 years of age to go for the COVID-19 vaccination jab as vaccines become available. I have engaged with the Minister of Health, and she agrees with me that when the next consignment of vaccines arrive, which I believe has happened, vaccination posts shall be extended to schools, to universities, and tertiary institutions.
The released results indicate the improving performance in science subjects.
We need more girls to embrace studying sciences. There is a common misconception or belief that females are less able to do sciences compared to males. This is very wrong, Mama, because I've taught ladies, girls who have performed even much better than boys.
Although there is a drop in the number of candidates registered this year, entries for the science subjects and mathematics increased significantly compared to entries for 2019.
Candidates who have scored grades A and B demonstrated high levels of knowledge of the subject matter, and they were able to handle tasks that required high order skills. Their work in the practical examinations also showed ability to manipulate apparatus, ability to record observations correctly, reflecting the accuracy level of the instruments they have used, and the ability to manipulate the data generated correctly.
The Secretary UNEB disclosed that Eliab Daniel of Iganga Secondary School with sight impairment was the best candidate among the 208 registered candidates with special needs. Senior 1 and Senior 5 selection is planned for September and October on a date yet to be communicated. Mutoni Hilda, UBC.
Uganda is registering a drop in the number of COVID-19, according to the Ministry of Health. Now, the Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Aceng, beg your pardon, this week confirmed that COVID-19 positivity rate has significantly dropped from 22% to 2.8%.
COVID-19 is one of the most devastating diseases the world has suffered, and it is in the interest of people that this deadly disease comes to an end. Ministry of Health confirmation about the reduction of COVID-19 positive cases is one of those relieving statements as people yearn to resume a normal life.
A consistent reduction in daily confirmed cases from the peak of 1,735 on the 10th of July 2021 to a new low of 62 on the 15th of August 2021. 2. A consistent drop in positivity rate from the highest of 22% to an average of 2.8% to date. 3. A fall in the daily admissions of the severe and critically ill patients from a peak of 204 to less than 50 per day to date. 4. A reduction in the daily deaths.
However, in spite of the good news of the reduction in COVID-19 infections and deaths, the Ministry of Health still warns of a looming third wave that is anticipated to be more lethal.
Projections from our scientists show that the third wave of the pandemic is likely to peak at 4,000 laboratory confirmed cases per day. This is over 2 times higher than the second wave. This means that 15% of the patients will require admission at the health facility, and about 9,331 patients may require high dependency units or intensive care unit admissions.
Meanwhile, travel guidelines have also been reviewed and there is no longer categorization of countries. The new measure is that all travelers, including children, will be subjected to PCR COVID-19 test at all points of entry.
Any traveler, national or non-national, who tests positive for COVID-19 will be evacuated by the Ministry of Health to a designated COVID-19 isolation facility. C. Children under 18 years who test positive for COVID-19 will be allowed to undergo home quarantine with their parent or guardian. The basis of this is to ensure that we limit the spread of variants and avoid importation of new variants into the country.
Government is, however, striving to ensure that more COVID-19 vaccines are acquired to vaccinate eligible population.
18 million doses of the Sinopharm vaccine for 9 million people expected to arrive in phases beginning October 2021. 2. 9 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine from the African Union to cater for 9 million people. This is expected to begin arriving in the country next month, September 2021. 3. 18 million doses to cover 9 million people. These developments align our pipeline expectations to cover the 22 million target population plus the additional population of children.
I think our position is the same as that the WHO has taken, requesting the developed countries to hold on this decision to undertake third boosters so as to make vaccines available for the other part of the world. And this is largely because we will not be able to effectively control the COVID pandemic unless we vaccinate everybody globally.
Currently, there are 471 COVID-19 patients admitted in different health facilities, with a few others on home care across the country. Adia Nakote, UBC.
Well, no decision has been made on hosting refugees from Afghanistan in Uganda. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Jeje Odong, mid this week said that government is still in talk with its United States counterparts on the way forward. He was appearing before the Foreign Affairs Committee. Odong also clarified that reports regarding extradition of Turkish-based Ugandan blogger Fred Lombuye.
Formally in written in writing.
What exactly is Uganda's position on hosting refugees from Afghanistan? Members of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament sought answers from the Minister for Foreign Affairs.
They are better off than Ugandans who are around Changwali. I just want to inquire, what plans do we have as government, Minister of Internal Affairs, Office of the President, to make sure that the Ugandans are better off than the refugees which are coming to our country? Because
the legislators cited anomalies in the procedure undertaken by government to grant asylum to Afghans.
I don't know how the procedure of actually allowing these people into Uganda, because if they are coming here, they would apply for asylum if they have problems in their countries themselves. Is Uganda applying for asylum seekers to come and actually apply through Uganda's application?
What appeared hot was cooled down when Foreign Affairs Minister responded. Jeje Odongo noted that no decision has been made yet.
We have been approached
and we are continuing to discuss. No decision has been made whether they will come or not. So, what are we talking about here now?
Citing the Afghan situation as a lesson for AMISOM, Odongo said discussions were ongoing.
I may inform you there is a current initiative in as far as AMISOM is concerned called Somalia after 2021. We are part of it. We are engaged in it. Afghanistan is providing us now with the new lessons as we discuss this matter. But we have not yet come to the conclusion of this matter.
Seemingly convinced by the Afghan issue, MPs turned to the extradition of Turkish-based blogger Fred Lumbuye. They wanted to know his fate.
Well, you can call Lumbuye Kajubi Fred. He has been very elaborate on media, but let him also be elaborate to this committee. It is a matter of urgency. Lumbuye Kajubi Fred left Uganda freely and has been living in Turkey, where comfortably, from the report, even Uganda is trying to come up with a number of bilateral agreements.
Lumbuye, as the Shadow Minister did point out, is indeed a Ugandan who has been living in Turkey, to be specific, Istanbul. The situation and position regarding his status is a matter of discussions still going on between Uganda and Turkey.
Also disowned statements attributed to him regarding Lumbuye's fate.
At no time did I say that Lumbuye was deposed. As a lawyer himself, he's very careful with his words, I'm very careful with my words. So for him to be able to say that I said he was deported, I think it was a misquotation of what I...
Well, UBC News Roundup will take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94# to activate a 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy a 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Man, guess what happened yesterday? I entered the what? The taxi. But the pregnancy is from the what? The generator. Then my phone does toot, and the toothbrush breaks in the what? In the porridge. Then I call who?
Wait, what?
First wait, I am still telling you. Then the jerrycan does what?
Love to talk? MTN My Paka Paka now has more minutes. Get My Paka Paka voice bundles to talk and talk at no extra charge. Dial *160 *1# to activate My Paka Paka.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Uganda has the best and most affordable rates when it comes to withdrawing and sending money. Withdraw money for as low as 330 shillings up to a maximum of 12,500 shillings. Sending money is just as affordable as ever. Absolutely unbeatable. Use Airtel Money on the most affordable network with the largest network of Airtel Money branches in Uganda. Dial *185# to get started. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Well, it's 47 minutes past 1 p.m. and just still watching UBC News Roundup. Now, in our business stories, women entrepreneurs in Kampala City this week asked government to develop a comprehensive program that will help them revive their businesses. Addressing journalists in Kampala, women entrepreneurs said some of them are frustrated by their landlords who are demanding for their rent payments, and yet most of their businesses have been hit by the lockdown.
Following the relaxation of the COVID-19 induced lockdown, most businesses in the country have resumed a bit, with low turn-up of traders in the city. This has reportedly affected entrepreneurs negatively, and they continue to register low sales. Some of the women entrepreneurs share their experience.
Even if someone comes to actually buy something, they'll come and ask for lesser products than they've been taking. If they've been taking things worth like 250 or 100, the same round, they'll come and take things worth 20,000 because they're a bit scared and prices are high. Transport.
The business so far is not good because we have no customers and we have to pay rent. Our landlords refuse to remove rent in the period of lockdown. So we are requesting if the government could help us and talk to the landlords so that they can remove the rent and we proceed.
They urge that they have failed to access loans due to the tough policies guiding the programs.
Loans, it's not easy to access them. They need a lot of things. They need land title. You can't access the loan without a land title. And put their loan at low rates so that they can help those entrepreneurs who already have their businesses in town.
I am Mary Namkose for UBC News.
Government this week halted operations of close to 60 non-government organizations over non-compliance. Notably among these is the Citizens Coalition for Electoral Democracy Uganda, CEDU, accused for not filing returns for a period of 4 years. National Bureau for NGOs cautions the public against relating with these NGOs, asking for concerted efforts from all stakeholders to oversee enforcement of this decision.
NGO Act under Section 30.
The National Bureau for NGOs, responsible for monitoring and regulating activities of all non-government organizations across the country, alleges that 58 non-government organizations have been operating illegally for a number of years. According to the Bureau, 23 of the culprits have been operating with expired permits, 19 others have not been filing returns, while the remaining 16 are accused of operating without registration.
And all our stakeholders out there to take note of these decisions of these three categories of NGOs that we are halting the operations, and also note the affected NGOs that may actually be operating either under their jurisdiction. The second thing we'd love to also communicate is to call upon all our stakeholders from the national level, district level, sub-county level, to help us in enforcing these decisions because we cannot work alone.
Top on the list for those suspended indefinitely is the Citizens Coalition for Electoral Democracy, CEDU.
We have had a number of engagements and also investigations on CEDU and found there are so many other issues. They have issues like they proceeded to observe elections without having accreditation from the Electoral Commission. They have been operating without a clear MOU from the area where they're operating.
However, Dr. Okello Stephen, the chair National Bureau for NGOs says there is room for restoration of the relationship. Investigations are underway to ascertain which ones are to have their activities revoked.
If you are not filing returns, then it means you are raising a lot of questions. Are you hiding anything? Do you have internal governance issues? And why are you not being compliant? And that means that more work is going to go on. So we have indefinitely suspended some of the operations to enable them really convince us why we should not go to the next level of revoking their permits and cancelling their registration.
There are 2,200 non-government organizations operating in Uganda. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Man, guess what happened yesterday? I entered the what? The taxi. But the pregnancy is from the what? The generator. Then my phone does toot-toot. And the toothbrush breaks in the what? In the porridge. Then I call who?
Wait, what?
First wait, I am still telling you. Then the jerrycan does what?
Love to talk? MTN My Paka Paka now has more minutes. Get My Paka Paka voice bundles to talk and talk at no extra charge. Dial *160*1# to activate My Paka Paka.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Uganda's middle-distance runner Jennifer Nyakato has been flagged off for Poland, where she takes part in the World Deaf Athletics Championship in Poland. Now, the championship, to attract several countries, starts on the 23rd of August for 5 days.
Take this opportunity to hand over this flag to you as our ambassador to the World Deaf Athletics Championships.
National Council of Sports Assistant Secretary General David Katende has lauded the Athletics Federation for its inclusiveness. Katende was gracing the flag off of deaf runner Jennifer Nyakato, who will represent Uganda at the World Deaf Athletics Championship that starts next Monday.
This is going to be the first time a Ugandan deaf athlete is participating in these games. As you may recall, Jennifer is the current record holder for Africa in these games in the 15,800 meters, and she's going to Poland to participate in 1,500 meters and also in the 800 meters. We want to thank the Uganda Athletics Federation for their good gesture of pursuing the concept of inclusivity and giving chance and opportunity to all people to participate in sport. Including those who have bodily physical disabilities and also those who fall in the category of Jennifer, who has a hearing and talking defect.
At this fourth Deaf Athletics Championship at the Lublin Stadium in Poland, Nyakato will contest in both the 800 and 1,500 meters, in which she is a force to reckon with.
I was happy in Africa because I'm the first deaf woman and the best in 800 meters. Now in this world records, I want to be the first woman in Africa to break that record, 800 meters.
She's accompanied by experienced coach Kiwa Faustino, who expects nothing but the best, especially after the training she has undergone. The championship was originally scheduled for 2020, but postponed due to COVID-19 and moved from Radom, which is about 100 kilometers south of the Polish capital Warsaw, to Lublin, which is the 9th largest city in Poland. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
Well, good luck to her after successfully exploited the Sekafa Clubs Championships in Tanzania. Express FC has returned to a joyous reception. Amon Gabo has a detailed report on this story.
Express Football Club, the champions of the Sekafa Kagame Cup 2021.
Uganda's scandal in sports has continued to light upon Express FC of winning the Sekafa Club Championships in Tanzania.
They have done it. And they are currently in cloud nine. Excited they are.
Express FC beat Malawi's Nyasa Big Bullets in the final by a goal to nil scored by Martin. That result has resonated well and even caught attention of Ugandans, including the Minister of Education and Sports, who at the reception was represented by the State Minister of Sports, Martin Obua.
6 days ago, Team Uganda that represented our country in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics was received in this same room. I am happy that today we are here to receive our giants, the giant club within the East and Central Africa, the Express FC of the Republic of. Our dream now must be looking forward to the continental level, at African level. Meet those giant clubs. DRC Congo, you know them. In South Africa, you know them. In Zambia, you know them. The dream must now be focusing on how do we position ourselves as Express FC to be the best club in Africa. And never underrate yourself. You are best in your own. You are a distinction in your own talent. Don't tell people that I am a credit. You are not.
The Nabot side of a treble if all goes well in the Uganda Cup, in which they play Bull FC in the semi-finals later this month.
Now we are the champions of Uganda, champions of East and Central Africa, but sir, they are going to rest today and maybe tomorrow. See you start business again because we need to chase the third cup, which is the Uganda Cup, which is coming up soon. Then when that is done, we need to go to the continent and finish off the tour of duty for this year. So welcome back, congratulations. We are so proud of you. Today is the government's day. We shall have our day. Like I talked to the CEO, we're going to arrange our day when we meet and discuss our in-house matters before you start your next journey.
National Council of Sports Secretary General Dr. Bernard Patrick Ogwell assured Ugandans that through a sustainable effort to promote sports, such is a reward.
I note that the future of the sport in this country, and that is the beautiful game football, can now be appreciated in terms of very responsive governing structure and management style being ushered in Express Football Club.
Express FC is proud of players such as Maurice Juko, Muzamir Mutiaba, Eric Kambale and Enoch Walsimbi. Focuses for the club in the short run is the Uganda Cup semi-final.
We've come to the end of the UBC News Roundup today on the 22nd of August 2021. Such a beautiful Sunday. I hope you've had a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch with me, Sharon Kyomugisha. Have a lovely afternoon. God bless and a great weekend ahead. A great week ahead.